Is international cricket dying, or is international cricket slowly but surely being phased out for franchise-based T20 league cricket? Now, these are questions we often find ourselves asking. In fact, if you've seen any of our previous videos, you'd know for a fact that this isn't a topic that we are addressing for the first time. However, the reason we're addressing it is because there are some quotes out there from Kolkata Knight Riders CEO Venki Mysore. And he's made some pretty interesting claims about what it is he sees as being the future of international franchise cricket more specifically. But what it is that he has revealed as his plans could have seismic implications on the future of the international game. Hello everyone, welcome back to Sports Today. My name is Shane Rice, and today we are going to be talking about, once again, the link between the growth of franchise-based T20 cricket and the impact that it is having to the importance that is given to international cricket. Now, of course, the first thing that we should address is why exactly we are having this conversation, and the reason for that is because of an interesting interview that Venki Mysore gave to the Telegraph in the UK. Now, in that he has pointed out quite a few things, but I think the more interesting or noteworthy things that he said, there was two things specifically, and one of the first things he said was that if we have an X number of contracted players and we're able to use them all in different leagues, I think that would be nirvana. Now, obviously, it is worth noting that in recent times, a lot of owners of IPL teams have been investing money in other leagues as well. Kolkata Knight Riders themselves own about 4 different teams, and other teams have also been spreading around their wealth in that regard, because again, you'd remember that in the recent franchise auction for the Cricket South Africa's new T20 league, all 6 teams have been bought by owners who already have IPL teams. So obviously you can understand why exactly he's saying what he's saying, because after all, if say one group can contract a player for an X number of time and have them play in 3-4 different leagues, it would be able to benefit them in multiple ways in which we are coming to later. But that wasn't the only interesting point that he mentioned in that interview. No, there's another very interesting point, and in that he says that it pertains to Indian players being able to play in foreign T20 leagues. As we know, that's something that hasn't really happened. You don't see top level international players playing in other T20 leagues unless of course they're retired and have an NOC from the BCCI. So top levels, you'll never see a Virat Kohli, Rohit Sharma, KL Rahul playing say the Big Bash League. However, if Venki Mysore is to be believed, he said that the BCCI, and I'm quoting him, he says, I think that they have an open mind about this, but they need to figure out what's best for Indian cricket and for Indian players. So what he's also said is that when he's broached the BCCI on this topic, when he's approached this topic with the BCCI, they have said that yes, we're trying to figure something out. Now again, that is quite the massive development, because of course if you have Indian players playing abroad, then automatically that is beneficial for the league abroad as well, because it gives them an extra exposure to a very cricket crazy fan base. But it also benefits the players because of course they get to earn a little extra money on the side. However, that does bring us to the next big question in terms of why exactly are these teams wanting to do that. As I said, there are multiple benefits, and we are going to go over this right now. Now, the first thing is that a lot of these franchise owners are kind of spreading around their portfolios, to use a financial term. See, when the IPL was first launched in 2008, most people invested in it because they knew that they had the potential to make money. Now, however, it's no longer about potential. The IPL is making money hand over fist, and most franchises are in fact running in the green. In fact, they are either profitable or very, very close to being profitable. So there is hope that this is something that can be monetized by these owners in a business sense for them, because they've invested a lot of money and they want to see returns. But because they're seeing returns in the IPL, naturally they want to replicate that success if they go to say the Caribbean, because the Caribbean Premier League has say Kolkata Knight Riders owning a team there, the Trinbago Knight Riders, the Cricket South Africa thing I already mentioned to you. So in a way, it makes sense for these teams to kind of spread around their money and then try to generate more income. So from a financial perspective, makes perfect sense. What's more is that in today's day and age, it's no longer a case about T20 leagues having the potential to generate money. No, they are generating money, and they are capturing the attention of fans who might not be interested in cricket in the longest form, but who enjoy short bouts of entertainment, because that is exactly what T20 cricket is about. So in that sense, they know that there's a market, and there is a market that is ready to be monetized. So in that sense, that is the second reason. And of course, the third reason would also be to introduce a sense of continuity among these franchises. Now, using the KKR example, because this is a quote that comes directly from Venki Mysore, Kolkata have 4 teams which are spread out in and among, their various interests. They have, of course, the Kolkata Knight Riders, they have the Trinbago Knight Riders, they have the Abu Dhabi Knight Riders, who will be playing in the International League T20, which is, of course, UAE's new league. And they also will be owning a team not only in Cricket South Africa's league, but they are also potentially looking to invest in a team in an American-based franchise T20 league. So clearly they believe that there is an audience out there that can be monetized. Now imagine how nice it would be for that team to have someone like, say, an Andre Russell, someone who's not centrally contracted to the West Indies and who's a cricketing freelancer of sorts, because he plays in leagues all across the world. Have them represent the Knight Riders in all of these guises. It would make for a lot of sense, because fans can identify with Russell and fans can identify with the Knight Riders. So in that sense, they get a lot of benefits in terms of building the brand. And Russell is someone who in recent years has been associated. In fact, not just him. Imagine them having someone like a Sunil Narayan being able to do that, or even potentially a Pat Cummins. There's a lot of benefits involved there. And obviously, it also makes the process of them making these teams easier, because if they have, say, a few players who are contracted to them for a year or two, they can use these players across these leagues and not have to worry so much about, they'd be having a similar core. But, and the big but here is that, because we're talking about contracts, he said that we'd like to have players tied down for, say, a year. So if they offer one player a contract for a year to be playing across these T20 leagues, the big question that comes after that is, what happens to international cricket? Now, obviously, in recent times, we've seen a lot of indications, not just from us on this channel, but even from former cricketers and current experts and commentators, where they say that the international game as of now needs rejigging, specifically ODI cricket. Remember, people like Wasim Akram have come out and said that ODIs are boring and a dying format. Usman Khwaja has said something similar, that they're dying a slow death. And a lot of people in general, there's not as much of an appetite for ODI cricket as there may have been, say, 20 years back. Obviously, T20s is the new shiny toy, and it's been monetized to such an extent thanks to T20 franchise leagues that people are more and more gravitating towards that. And if you want an example of just how much boards and the cricketing fraternity as a whole are fluctuating towards that, remember, Cricket South Africa pulled out of an ODI series against Australia in the beginning of January 2023, January 2023 to be exact, because they wanted all of their top players available for their newly launched T20 league. If that isn't a sign that teams are, and that in fact boards are prioritizing franchises as a way of securing their financial future, I don't know what is. And of course, this also brings people to another worrisome trend, because of course, if you've watched cricket for a long period of time, you know that the game revolves largely around international matches, specifically bilaterals, and of course, tournaments like T20, ODI World Cups. What happens to, what happens to bilateral series? What happens to so much international cricket being played? Again, a recent video that I had done also said that, that in the next Future Tours program for 2023 to 27, there's more and more space being left in the calendar across boards, because they want their franchise-based leagues to have a certain window in the calendar. So obviously, in that sense, there is a feeling, or a growing feeling, that cricket as we know it is going to be coming to a change, because there is going to be a large number of focus on these franchise-based leagues rather than international bilateral cricket. The real question that of course we have to ask ourselves in all of this is this something that isn't something of an inevitability at this point, or is there something that can be done to actually make international cricket a more attractive, viable option for fans? Again, remember, things like the IPL and the Caribbean Premier League, the Big Bash League, the 100 are all generally tried and geared to marketing towards trying to capture a new audience or a casual fan. However, international cricket has always been the bread and butter of the sport, and as things stand, that does stand in a little bit of danger because there's being more and more control wrested away from international cricket and in franchise leagues. And right now, bear in mind, this is only a hypothetical scenario simply because there's no official confirmation there that any of this can happen. There's no a diktat that has been issued that, franchises will be signing a player for a year plus and then forbidding him from playing international cricket. But what if that actually happens? What if a player is signing, short-term deals like this and then, playing franchise cricket all over the world? It will, of course, benefit them massively in a financial sense, but will it leave the game poorer off? That is a question that is worth pondering, and unfortunately, I don't think that the people who should be pondering that question are pondering right now, which is why we are seeing more and more of a focus on franchise-based T20 leagues because they are money spinners rather than preserving the sanctity of the international sport and ensuring that bilateral series and the World Cups continue to retain some degree of meaning. Thank you all so much for joining us in this particular video. I'm very, very grateful if you've watched this, and I thank you very much for being a part of this video. If you enjoyed what it is that we do, please don't forget to like the video, share it with your friend, drop us a comment and let us know, do you think international cricket is dying, or do you think the T20 franchise leagues are a fad that will eventually fade away into the background with international cricket regaining supremacy of the game? Do let us know. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Last but not least, tap the bell icon so that you know when it is we're going live and uploading a new video for you guys. And of course, please don't forget to follow us across platforms. We're on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram as well besides YouTube. So follow us there for some interesting sporting related content. Thanks once again for joining us. As always, I've been Shane Rice and I hope to see you guys again very, very soon. Bye-bye.